What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and boy do I have a absolutely crazy one for you. This is a theory that, if I am correct, is going to blow the lid off everything, and it's going to melt faces. Hamilton Project, Algorand, MIT, Silvio Macaulay, everything fits. Why? What's going on? What is happening? Algorand with its updates for security with quantum computing, and being the only blockchain really that is heavily focused on security and quantum computing. What is going on? Well, holy crap, listen to all this. So bear in mind, this is a theory, but my God, if I'm correct. So from the official monetary and financial institutions forum, the Boston Fed refines Project Hamilton focus. They had two different projects that they were looking at. And the sense of urgency is palpable. You can feel the urgency in the air. I am telling you what, but the excitement comes here later on when I think I may have made an interesting connection, so stick with me. If we don't start researching the technology now, we risk falling years behind, said Jim Kuna. Forgive me if I butcher that name. Jim Kuna, Executive Vice President of Secure Payments and FinTech at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, discussing central bank digital currency at an OMFIF event on February 17th, which came just days after the publication of a report. See, I'm so excited, I'm stumbling over my words. Jointly produced with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, which is where Silvio Macaulay went. Also, just recently, there was an update with Algorand. It was a big, huge update. There's also a node update, and we also know that, incidentally, over here, Yodlee is having issues because they can't talk about the node updates, and the frustration with them is palpable as well. They're saying that there's an update, and they can't do anything about it, and they can't talk about it. So, this report came out. Quantum computing is one of the big upgrades for Algorand just recently. Just keep that all in your head. But despite this urgency, he added that the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency meant that it was more important for the U.S. to be right than to be first. I actually agree. And remember, they were saying earlier that it is possible to have two currencies, two reserve currencies. Could that be the dollar and the digital dollar? The U.S. will be at the table with international standards bodies influencing the discussion, and not being the first out with CBDC won't diminish that. Technically, the Boston Fed's Project Hamilton report marks a tipping point. Central bank digital currency research appears to be leaving blockchain behind, although the technology has left an indelible mark on the technology. So here is reading between the lines on that. So yes, 1.7 million transactions is what the Hamilton Project report says that it does. That is insane. And it is leaving Solana, which is the fastest blockchain technology that we have right now, at 50,000 transactions per second, in the dust. But they said it has left an indelible mark on the technology. They developed this technology and tested it at MIT. You're darn right, MIT was pushing Algorand because that's where they tested it. That's a matter of pride. The government is in your house. You want your product to be used. Oh, now our ears are peeking up, aren't we? Kuna described the project as technology agnostic, but highlighted that a system run by the Federal Reserve does not need to be decentralized. Of course, we weren't going to get away with that. I've told you guys for a long time that we have to live in reality. The dollar is not decentralized. No currency in the world is decentralized, and no government in the world is going to allow a completely decentralized currency. It just will not happen. It will be a black market of decentralized currencies. We would control the system, so we don't need a heavy consensus method like proof of work. Oh, they don't need Bitcoin. They don't need proof of work. What does that mean? Pure proof of stake. Stake. That is a source of energy waste. We don't have the same risk of bad actors as Bitcoin. We can be trusted controllers of the network. So a modified pure proof of stake, which would mean Algorand would have to modify the nodes, right? Now, While Project Hamilton is not built on blockchain architecture, it has certainly drawn some inspiration from aspects of distributed ledger technology, primarily token-based rather than account-based. So they're going on tokenomics. They're basing it upon blockchain technology. So the atomizer, which is the system that they are using, or that they were testing, and then the other one, which is two-phase commit. Now, this is where things get really exciting. Bear with me. The atomizer system can manage 170,000 transactions per second, preserving the transaction order. That's huge. The other system, known as two-phase commit, is around 10 times faster, but does not preserve the transaction order. But they didn't see any reason to preserve the transaction order that would be necessary for this blockchain. Here's the big part. Two-phase commit. What is two-phase commit? A two-phase commit is a standardized protocol that ensures that a database commit is implementing in the situation where a commit operation must be broken into two separate parts. Open and closed. Ones and zeros. Binary language. Computers. What does ones and zeros better? Something that does superposition. It can be a 1 and a 0 at the same time. Timestamping is what optimizes two-phase commit. Timestamping is just like state proofs. State proofs. Timestamping and state proofs are virtually the same thing. What is really good at doing both of those things? Quantum computers. Quantum advantage with timestamping, Membo-Sano sampling. Membo-Sano sampling, in a nutshell, it's virtually the same thing as state proofing, only on a smaller scale. Quantum computer harnessing quantum superposition to boost a parallel computational power. It's an ability of quantum computers to be faster than the fastest supercomputer because of that superposition. All this, I mean, am I crazy? Does this not just seem to fit? Because when I heard that this is 1.7 million transactions per second, I want a slice of the pie. I want to know what it is. How do I get in on it? I want it before everybody else. And I read this and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait, two-phase commit? I loved quantum computing. I did a lot of research on it because I do believe quantum computing is fantastic at what quantum computing is fantastic at. And one of the things that it's fantastic at was two-phase commit. But then when you use timestamping, which is the same thing as state proofs, it's like taking a digital snapshot of the state of your positions, your ones, your zeros, your superpositions, and then being able to take that information and real quickly disseminate it without having to look at that information ever again because you already have it. That's like state proofs. Do you see how things are like weird? But with Algorand doing that update and focusing on quantum computing with Falcon keys, yes, being able to move at low power state. Well, you want a quantum computer to be able to work at a low power state as well. Because then you could make a quantum computer cheaper. I mean, holy crap. Am I imagining this? I mean, that's just crazy. But I definitely want your input on this. This is crazy. If I'm right, all right, that's all I got. Let me know, guys. I will see you guys on the next one.